My dudes, my guys, my freaking boys. Let's work on the CRX. Okay, so I know I haven't updated you guys on the CRX much, but it's because I haven't been working on it. This thing's very expensive, and I don't have a lot of money, so it's been sitting. Been collecting parts when I can and stuff like that. So now I'm getting the car ready to take to North Carolina to get all the wiring done. I think all the wiring done. I don't know. We still got to talk about it, but whatever I can afford of the wiring for the wiring to get done, for sure the engine harness. So I got to get the car prepped for that. I'm going to pull the dash out, and there's just a couple of like little things I got to do. So I'm going to start taking care of that now. Just found this on my part shelf. This I had on my Civic wagon, and it's a brake booster delete, and we don't need the brake booster anymore because we're just running a quarter mile, so should have plenty of time to slow down. I'm not street driving or anything crazy like that, and I've driven cars clearly with them deleted before and they're fine, so I wouldn't want to do it every day, but for what we're using this for, it'll work. So I guess I'm going to pull the dash out first because that's got to come out for all the wiring stuff, and then I will go ahead and do the brake booster delete. And if you're wondering why I'm not just doing the easy route and just using an OEM harness, is because the harness in this car has been chewed up since I've owned it. It was a previous owner that had it before me, did some hack wiring stuff in this car, and it's always stressed me out. We went through it and fixed as best as we could with what knowledge me and one of my friends had back in the day, and it did all right, but can't have this no more. I do this stuff for a living now, so I can't be having that no more. So that's why everything's getting redone. Alright, now we got something to work with. So all of these wires have to come out of here. I'm going to the back to the taillights and stuff like that. I don't know whether he's going to want me to keep that stuff or not. I'm going to get rid of all of it. If he wants to, or if he doesn't want to do the taillights, I'll wire those in myself. No big deal there. I'll keep all the harness and stuff, but for sure, everything in here, all of this wiring needs to come out. So I'm going to work on that. Alright, so I have all the wiring out. I started messing with the brake booster stuff, but I need to get some longer bolts. So I guess I'm done with this for now, so I'll pick back up whenever we work on it again. I'm done for the day, it's too hot. What's up, y'all? Back at it again. I went out and got coffee this morning and completely forgot that I needed bolts for the brake master cylinder. So I also need, I'm looking at my list right now, I also need bolts to mount the water pump. Don't have those either. So there is a couple other things I can do, so let's try to knock out some other stuff, and then maybe for lunch we'll go run out and grab bolts and stuff like that. So let's see what we can do. So this is the list. Mount water pump, can't do that because I need the bolts. Fuel pressure sensor, I'm pretty sure I can do that because we're just like mocking something up. Coolant pressure sensor, I can mock something up for that. Oil pressure sensor, I need to see if it will just thread into the block. I gotta figure that out. Wheel speed sensor, I might be able to mess with that. I was gonna save that for another day because I'm sure that's gonna be a pain. Mount the radiator, which I'm gonna rear mount it. We'll see how the day goes. Get all the wires out, already did that. Get the dash out, got that. Mount battery, I can't do that until I get another battery. So maybe Friday. Install the starter, we can for sure do that because I have a spare K24 swap laying around. So I'll go steal the starter off of that for now. I don't need it on this thing at the moment, and it'll help for this. So I'll just steal it off the other setup and then we'll be good. Alright, so if we go over here, I have a spare motor and a full all-wheel drive. I don't know if you can see the transfer case down there. All-wheel drive K24 swap. You know, for reasons.
for reasons. We'll get around to that at some point. So I'm gonna go ahead, move some stuff out of the way, and then rip the starter off that bad boy. All right, I got the starter out. Let's try to pop it in. I guess they're all the same. I mean, this is a K24 block, but this went into a K24 trans also. There's a K20 trans, but I assume they're all the same. Yeah, looks good enough for me. Good enough for mock-up, at least for wiring. It doesn't have a it doesn't have a flywheel in there. It has a flex plate because it's automatic. So yeah, this will work though. It looks like it'll stay in there enough. Mainly everything is going in just to get all the wires done. So, all right, starter check. Now, what else can we do right now? Might try to mess with this oil pressure sensor. So the setup that I'm going to be doing doesn't run VTEC. It's going to run a single load cam. Apparently the oil pressure sensor is under that. So I might try to pull this VTEC solenoid off and see if I can see the oil pressure sensor. Alright, VTEC solenoid's out. There's our oil pressure sensor. So now I just got to figure out what size that is. This one's broken anyway, so we're going to replace it with a Fuel Tech one, as long as it's the same like thread pitch. I don't know if I'm going to have to buy something for that or what. But I'm going to go ahead and try to get that thing out of there. So I know the pressure sensors that I got are NPT fittings. So I guess I'm gonna go inside and grab one and see if this is an NPT. It looks kind of like it, but I can't really tell. This is my very expensive box of sensors. Well, it looks the same, so let's go ahead and try it. I know you're supposed to put Teflon on it and stuff. Ooh, that does not feel good. Well, maybe it's a different thread pitch. Yeah. Alright, since this is a Maka motor, we're not actually ever really going to use it. I just threaded it in there. Don't ask questions, it's fine. It's in there good enough for what we have to do. Now, I should have somewhere on the parts shelf a old Aeromotive, here it is. Perfect. This guy. Now, what I'm going to hope, which I know it's wishful thinking, is that if I undo this guy, I hope that I can fit another pressure sensor in here. And then all I gotta do is just like mount this off to the side just for right now. Like I said, all this stuff's just for wiring. So I'm kind of putting stuff where it's gonna be-ish. And then my buddy's gonna wire everything, and then when I get the car back, everything comes out and everything actually gets done. It's just this is the most stressful part for me because I gotta take the car 6 hours away to get it done and leave it there and stuff like that. Everything else is all local, so I'm gonna try to go ahead and get this guy out now, and then we'll see if the other sensor will fit in there. Okay, so our fuel rail is right there. Right now I have a 90 going down, but it's not where it's gonna go. So my thinking is I'm gonna mount this here. I'm actually gonna have to build like an actual bracket for it at some point. That's not today. But what the game plan is it will go in this side. I don't know if it has to come out on the bottom or if it can come out on this side, but if it can come out on this side, that'd be mint. If it can come out on the bottom, there should be enough room. I'll just move it over enough to where like right there would have enough room. But I also want the sensor to be clear. Let me move this as I just destroy everything. I want the sensor to be able to clear the motor mount. So if the motor mount has to come out straight up, I don't have to take any of this off. I can just unplug it and it'll be out of the way and good to go. So it needs to be probably somewhere in that range right there. So I'll probably just run a self-tapper in it for now and then actually build a bracket later on down the road. Alright, so we got that on there. It's super loosey-goosey, but it'll work for now. That's two things. Now the water neck, I don't have one. I have one on the other motor, but I don't want to take it off there. And I don't think any of the other spare heads I have it. Spare K20 head stuff. Yeah, there's none in there. I'll go check the other heads, but I'm pretty sure I don't have one. So I might go to the junkyard and pop one off just real quick. Yeah, because this is my RBC, it doesn't have one, and this is the head that we're building, and it also doesn't have one. So, so I guess I need to run out now. So I need bolts, and I need to get a water neck or something, just something, so I'm just gonna drill a hole in it and be like, this is where it's gonna live, boom, and like, that'll be good enough for what we need to do. So other than that, I don't really think I have much else. So we got that done. We got that done. I can do that. Yeah, so really there's only like 3 or 4 things left, which is sick. But the other 3 or 4 things take a bunch of time. This is all the easy stuff. So I guess we're gonna go run to the junkyard real quick. So for future reference, if you guys ever end up with an electric water pump, I'm an idiot. So I mounted it this way. There's my bracket for it. I mounted it like this because I wanted the sticker in the front. It's got the nice engraving on the front, all that stuff. Where the actual water pump is on that side. So I figured, you know, it'd be smart to run it that way. Unfortunately, these have it in and out. No duh, right? So that's the in, so it needs to be mounted this way. Ugh, like that. So my issue with that is I need to get some really long bolts. I could probably like cut that off and make something work, but I'm trying to get away from that. I'd rather just buy some longer bolts. I really like where it's sitting at right here. I'm trying to hang as much weight off the front as I can. So this will sit here. I'll end up getting a 90. It'll shoot under the trans right through there and go to the back of the car. And this is going to be 90 here, and it's going to snake out in front of it and then up to the fuel rail up there. So I need to get some longer bolts. I got one here. I'm going to take a measurement, and I got to get some longer ones of those. And then I got to get bolts for that thing. All right, it's hot. Went to the junkyard and got the coolant neck that we need. And then I went to the hardware store and got bolts for everything else. So we should be able to go home and finish up like everything but 3 things. My buddy's on the way over and we're gonna mess with his car, and then I'll be able to work on my car again. I'm so blown, man. I don't have money right now, and the junkyard has an EP3 sitting in there, and I really want the seats to like flip, like so. And also we hurt Heather's transmission in the EM2. So that trans would also be very nice to have right now, because that's the one that she has in her car. So I need to come up with some money. Y'all like and subscribe so YouTube can pay me to buy these things and we can do junkyard builds. But I'll hit y'all up whenever we get back at the house. Alright, so we're back at the house. Got the coolant neck on and got the brake booster delete in enough. It's not like all the way tight or anything, but it's good enough for now. The brakes can still work and gives him a general idea of what he's working with. The only thing I'm going to do here is I think I'm going to pull this off and like just drill a hole in here and be like, this is where the coolant pressure sensor is going to go, and just leave it at that. Because ideally I'm going to get like either I'm going to cut this and make one, or I'll buy one, but like a swirl pot to sit right here. So, but for now, that'll be good enough. An issue that I am having though is this is the right thread pitch for this side, right? See, it screws down in there. This side, it looked like it was bigger, but it is not. So it doesn't go in there. So I need to re-tap that side, or I'm gonna have to redo this entire bracket, which I really don't want to do because I like it sitting out front. So I think I'm just gonna end up having to re-tap that or something. I'll just have to buy a tap and die set. So Vinny was here, he just rolled out. He is a brilliant fellow. Under here there's bolts in all 4 corners, so I could just rotate the housing and bolt it up normal. So that's what we did. So that's in there now. Probably gonna end it here. I got everything done on the list that's small stuff, so now there's just 3 bigger things to do. That's gonna be for another one. One of those is gonna take like all